Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Huddle. Today is Saturday, October 12th. We are back. It is another week 6 of the NFL season. We have hit about the midway point here in October. So October is flying by here so far. By the time many of you are watching this, it'll probably be Sunday morning, October 13th, which will be week 6, full Sunday, full of football. Should be a lot of fun starting in the morning with the Bears and the Jaguars in London, and an ending with the Giants and the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. This is episode 33 of the Inside the Huddle podcast. We thank you as always for joining us. DiMari, we're back. It's another week and a lot to discuss. It's been a crazy week, especially for me as a Jets fan, which will open. But how's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually kind of sorry about your week, from coaching changes to your being you traded for was like, I'm just not showing up to work. So I know it's been a rough week for you, but it's probably gonna be a rougher week for me after tomorrow. We're same thing, dealing with some injuries, but luckily today we aren't talking about our team, so that can save me some stress up till tomorrow. So let's get into some other news.
I did nail the last week's pick. I said Cowboys were winning. I guaranteed it. I did the Namath guarantee, and the Cowboys won after
I
a
don't know
weather
if
delay later.
I don't know if you stayed up and watched that game, but that game ended like 1:30, and I did have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day. I stayed up, and it was actually worth it. As bad as we played, as bad as Dak played when it came down to the red zone, he was great from 20 to 20. Inside the 20, I don't know what was happening, but a lot of adversity. We bounced back. We've got to win. Now we might finish with 5 wins this season instead of 4, thanks to that win.
Should I put a guarantee out there for them beating the Lions?
We're not beating the Lions. I
Don't believe it. Not at home.
I don't. Not at home.
Momentum.
We are. What is our record? 2-2. I don't. That's how bad. I haven't even been paying attention. Would it be 2-3?
I think 3-2. I thought because because you got what, the Giants game, Browns, and then the Steelers, right?
Okay, 3-2. So that shows how much I've not really been paying attention to our football this year. But 3-2, but we have not won a game at home. All our games and wins come on the road. So Detroit comes to Dallas after last year's, ending to that game. Give me Detroit by 14.
We do not believe. Anyway, well, the Cowboys are going to get some rest this week. Not much heat there coming off the win. But the team we got to talk about is the New York Jets. It was a crazy week for the Jets, especially if you're a Jets fan. Obviously, if you're just an NFL fan, it was a crazy week as well. Anytime you get a head coach that gets fired in the middle of the season. And that's exactly what happened, right? You go into London, the New York Jets lose to the Vikings, an awful loss where they fall down 17-0, just like they did 3 years ago when they played in London against the Falcons. They fell down 17-0 in that game. And instead, this time, what the biggest difference was Robert Saleh now gets fired. Monday goes by, nothing happens. Tuesday morning, you get the breaking news around 10 Eastern, Saleh fired. He is out as the head coach. And then Thursday, you hear that the New York Jets demote Nathaniel Hackett as play caller, and Todd Downing is now the play caller. So not only did you get a head coaching change, but you also got an offensive play calling change. And now you go into a game through all of this craziness. What felt like this week was so long, it felt like an entire season went by in just the last 5 to 6 days. The Jets still have a chance on Monday night at home to be playing in the AFC, to be playing for, they are playing for the first place in the AFC East, and they have a chance to walk out of there Monday night under Jeff Ulbrich in the first game as Jeff Ulbrich as the head coach, interim head coach, to walk out of there with a win and walk out of their first place in the AFC. So as crazy and as bad as it's been through the last 2 weeks, and really the year as a whole being 2-3 in what is an all-in year, they still have a chance here to turn things around. It's not completely over. It's not all doom and gloom, although it's been pretty bad mostly. So I've said a lot on the YouTube channel already with some of my other pods about Robert Saleh and my thoughts on it, which I'll give you my thoughts. But for the viewers there, what are your thoughts from an outside perspective on the Robert Saleh firing, and even 2, obviously demoting Hackett, which I think if anybody knows ball, that's the right move, is demoting Hackett. I mean, you could be 10 beers deep and probably call better plays than Nathaniel Hackett. So that's how bad it's been. So what are your thoughts
I
on what has been a hectic week?
I mean, respectfully, I'm kind of looking at the Jets team. You're kind of looking at last season, seeing how things with Zach Wilson, Rodgers went down. You get Rodgers back this year, and you expect it to be completely different. But after kind of seeing how the season starts, I mean, I think it's safe to say that this problem is like way beyond the quarterback play, way beyond any weapons you bring in, way beyond the offensive line depth. It's it's the front office. I mean, I really don't know what to say. I guess this is what I'm trying to say is also a question at the same time. For the Jets, at what point are you just like, okay, as crazy as it sounds, at what point do we maybe go away from Rodgers and try something else? Because it's not like he's in there and he's looking great, and it's not like the offense is flowing so well and the defense is holding it down like they were doing last season. Rodgers has, respectfully, he looked awful. So obviously, first they're going to go with Hackett. They're going to try to change up the play calling, but play calling is not going so well. And just say 2 more weeks go by, they look like garbage. They go score 13 points on Monday against Buffalo. The following week they go out and they maybe only score 20 points. Still better than what they've been looking, but get into the red zone and you're like 4 in the red zone. At what point for this Jets team are you kind of starting to look like, all right, well, last year we didn't have this quarterback and we had these problems. This year we do have this quarterback and we still have these problems. Head coach is gone. Offensive coordinator has been demoted. I think it's time you might need to also look at quarterback as well as the front office, because as a unit, like they're just not getting it done.
Yeah, Rodgers has to play a lot better. I agree with that. He's got to play a lot better, and he's even said he's taken a lot of accountability about his play, about how it's not been good. I mean, look, your Hall of Fame quarterback cannot, in an all-in year, cannot come in here and throw 3 interceptions against the Vikings and have those type of struggles against Denver. So I totally agree. Rodgers has got to play significantly better. He knows that. Jets fans know that, especially just the last 2 weeks. And I'm not making excuses for Rodgers, but the offensive line, too, they've got to play a lot better. It looks like we'll get Morgan Moses back on Monday night, which is huge. Olu Fashanu, of course, the 11th overall pick, struggled in his first 2 games as a rookie the last 2 weeks, in place for Morgan Moses, but not time to panic, I think, on the rookie. He was starting 2 games at his non-primary position, right tackle, typically left tackle, of course, now occupied by Tyron Smith. But, yeah, Rodgers got to play a lot better. But I do still agree, though, with the Saleh firing. Something had to be done. In my eyes, and I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's same old Jets, dysfunctional. And while, yeah, firing your head coach 5 weeks into the season, when you have Aaron Rodgers in an all-in year and you still find a way to be 2-3, like the Jets are, they suck the last 2 weeks. Like, how does this team, how in the world does this team, and we've talked about this team ruining rookie quarterbacks, Darnold, Zach, this team is finding a way to make Aaron Rodgers look average at best the last 2 games. Like, how does that happen? That part of it, yeah, that's same old Jets. Losing to the Denver Broncos with 10 days to prepare for Bo Nix and the 0-2 Broncos, that's same old Jets. But to me, same old Jets would have been keeping Robert Saleh, letting this blow up in their face down the road in November, seeing, oh, they're 2-7, 2-8, 3-8, and then firing him when it's too late. So I do like that they're actually proactive because, look, they have a chance to take over first place in the AFC, as crazy it is, as that sounds. And Saleh had to go. The lack of accountability, the penalties, the slow starts, the undisciplined football. He looked lifeless on the sidelines. He never had any energy. I mean, he never, ever. He was brought in to be a CEO-type coach, oversee everything. He never once had any conversations with any player on the sidelines. He's always just stand there with his arms crossed. The 2 biggest statues in the New York, New Jersey area, Robert Saleh and the Statue of Liberty. You can make the case Saleh was the bigger and more known statue. He didn't move. He always stood there with a blank stare. He needed to go.
I am so glad. I'm sorry to cut you off, but That actually is the next thing I was going to say. I'm so glad you mentioned that because he's just not fiery enough.
No,
He's
he
not
lost it
upset
all.
at penalties. He looked like a guy on the sideline that kind of knew like, well, my time is ticking, so
Yeah,
who cares? Because regardless of how this ends up, like I'm out of here. But yeah, the guy stands on the sideline always with this look on his face. He's just like looking around, like
yep,
do something. There's some penalties, like be fiery. Bad calls going against you. Yell at the ref, like hold your players accountable. He does not do any of that. He just realistically seems like a doormat on the sideline. Because I mean, does the guy even speak? Like I don't think I've ever even heard him like or watched the game and kind of seen him go over to Rogers like, hey, what's going on? Like let's communicate. Same with the coordinators. It seemed like he's just there like in an assistant head coaching role and let everybody
yeah,
else around him do the coaching.
yeah,
In that market, especially what with the expectations of this team, he wasn't the guy. He wasn't fiery enough. It was time for him to go. And the fact that this whole season is going how it is, and like you said, you are actually fighting for first place in the AFC, taking into more consideration how good Buffalo has looked for quite a few weeks. They've kind of, it's been slippery slope for them, but first 2 weeks seeing Buffalo and seeing this Jets team, you're like, there's no way this is even going to be
yeah.
a race. And it is. So hopefully they can figure it out because the division's wide open.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Buffalo, I thought, was the best team in football after 3 weeks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen looked elite. They were playing great. And now all of a sudden they're 3-2, coming off a week where Josh Allen went 9 of 30. So they've really, really the last 2 weeks, and they've been banged up. Ed Oliver's been hurt. Obviously, Khalil Shakir, their leading receiver, who's a huge piece of that offense post Stephon Diggs. He's kind of taken over that role of like your reliable guy for Josh Allen in the slot. He's hurt as well, or has been hurt. James Cook, who I believe practiced today. I'm not sure. I think he's questionable for Monday, but he got hurt last week. That's a huge, huge factor in Monday night's game is James Cook's not out there. That's a huge blow. Of course, he's had a very productive year. And really, last year was great. He's been a very productive player for the Buffalo Bills, obviously, at running back. But yeah, look, Salah, he fooled us. He fooled us. Look, I will say it. I'm not one. You can go back if you want, the viewers. I have videos up from 2021 praising the Salah decision. I love the move because at the time you were coming out of the dysfunctional disaster 2-year run with Adam Gase, where the Jets were a disaster. They were the bottom of the barrel in the NFL, laughing stock. That was like one of the lowest points. Kotite and Gase were the two lowest points in Jets history. And there's been a lot of lows. So that's saying something. But they needed a guy to come in and change the culture. And Salah fooled us. We thought we were getting that same guy that had that fire on the sideline in San Francisco and held players accountable, was just looked like a guy that players love to be around, all that stuff, and was going to bring that energy to New York because Gaze was lifeless as well. That guy, all he was good for was moving his eyes all over the place. That's all he was good for. Salah, you thought was going to come in here and change that, and I think all this time he was just in over his head. Great defensive mind, great defensive coordinator, in over his head. And that's the thing too. People are like, oh, well, the Jets have a top 5 defense. They've been a top 5 defense. Why would you fire him? He's not a defensive coordinator. He is the head football coach of the New York Jets. The defense, great. Guess what? He's not even calling the plays on defense. It's Jeff Ulbrich. So, yeah, he's got his hands on a top 5 defense, but he's the head coach. The penalties, all that other stuff, he's got to oversee everything. He was in over his head. And you could slowly, little by little, see this decline. And obviously it's not good enough. I mean, look, clearly it's bad when Woody Johnson fires you because in his 25 years owning the team, which has been a long, painful 25 years of the Johnsons owning this team, he's never fired a coach mid-year. He didn't even fire Gaze mid-year during the 2-14 year. He could have fired Gaze. They were flying planes around MetLife Stadium with banners that said fire Adam Gaze when they started 1-7 in 2019. He didn't even fire him then. So that just tells you that, yeah, it's sense of urgency. Like this, something that needed to be done. And now we'll see what you have in Ulbrich, right? I want to look, the defensive guys love him. They respect the heck out of him. But I guess what are your realistic feelings for Jeff Ulbrich and what this team will look like post solid? Because my biggest hope is, and I've said this all this week, so you're going to probably hear the same opinion here. I just hope, and this is the same goes for Todd Downing. I hope that Todd Downing saw what Nathaniel Hackett, what didn't work with him, and same thing with Ulbrich, really for Ulbrich here, but seeing what didn't resonate with the locker room when it came to Robert Saleh, seeing what he didn't do well, learning from that and doing the opposite essentially of what Robert Saleh does. So I hope that Jeff Ulbrich can do that, whether it's how Robert Saleh went about holding players accountable, how he went about preparing every week. Ideally, Ulbrich kind of does the opposite because it didn't work for Saleh. So I don't know. I've had people all week ask me, what are your expectations for Jeff Ulbrich? I don't know. I really don't. Two things are going to happen. This team's either going to show up big time Monday night, and they're going to kind of do what the Raiders did in 2021 with Bisaccia. They're going to make a run. They're going to get to the playoffs. How far will they go? Who knows? Or they're going to lie down and they're going to collapse. And this thing's going to blow up in our face, and we're going to be looking at 6 wins, or we're going to be talking draft in November. So,
I mean, the expectation really shouldn't be that high. I mean, it's just for him at least, just go out there and be a head coach. They haven't had a head coach all year. You just go out there and be a head coach. And I know that's kind of bland and it's kind of simple. It's like, duh, like that's what he's there for. But you can clearly see, as we were both just saying, they do not, or haven't had a fiery guy to lead a team. And that's all he needs to do. Hold players accountable and, spark some fire underneath them. So I think you said it perfectly. I mean, you are on the last legs of Rodgers' career. So it's either, hey, we are going to figure out a way to win some games and we're going to turn this around because that's what we brought Rodgers here to do, or we're just going to lay to bed. We might not see no more Rodgers, and hey, let's start getting ready for the draft. I'm pretty sure that's not what they want. So to get the most out of Rodgers, they need to go out and win this game Monday.
Yeah, no, I agree. Monday's huge. It feels in a way like a start of a new season. All right, you're 2-3. You have a chance. Boom, game number 1. It feels like last year. Start out 1-0, get your second win in the division, and be in first place. And I will say this too: when it comes to Todd Downing and this offense, they got to find a way to get the run game going. Breece Hall has been running with cinder blocks on his feet. They've got to find a way to get him going. And I would also say this too: they got to use Braylon Allen much better than they have. And I hope that Todd Downing can do that, because when you look at Todd Downing and some of his numbers with McCaffrey, he had the 5th ranked rushing offense in 2021 and 13th ranked offense in 2022 with Tennessee as the offensive coordinator with Derrick Henry in Tennessee. So hopefully he can kind of get not same production out of Braylon Allen, but he knows how to use that. Derrick Henry, Braylon Allen's built like Derrick Henry, 6'1", 240 pounds. Hopefully they utilize him much better than they've been. I mean, the 3rd and 1s, the 4th and 1s, the goal line, Braylon Allen should be in the game, not Breece Hall. And they've got to find a way to get Breece Hall going too. He can't be running. He's been running. His vision hasn't been good. He hasn't got his speed. He hasn't looked as quick as he was last year. There's been so many problems.
And, just to throw something else in, that's another thing that concerns me. I know the game script last week kind of changed, but even when they kind of started to close the gap in that game, they weren't running the ball enough. Everything was, let's drop back and let's, quick game, let's go back shoulder, what Rodgers loves to do. But at that point, I mean, when things aren't working and you have you have a top 5 running back in football. I know Breece has not had the best year, lived up to the expectations. You have a top 5 running back in the NFL. Your running back 2 is one of the better running back 2s in the NFL. I don't honestly, top of my head, I can't think of one better at the moment, unless A-Chain is still considered a RB2, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs. But Braylon Allen, I think, has earned his way up there as one of the better RB2s in the NFL. Use them. I think there are 6-year-olds that know, hey, if you run the ball and you continue to run, or at least we don't got to run for a first down every time. You don't have to average 8.6 yards per rush. But hey, if we run the ball, we get 4 here, we get 5 here. Now we are in second and short, third and short. That opens up the pass. That opens up the play action, which I don't know if they even. I don't think I've seen them run play action all
No.
season. I could be wrong. I don't watch that much Jets unless it's prime time national TV. But I don't think I've seen Aaron Rodgers run play action one time, which is what he was also very good at doing when he is out in the pocket making plays. They're too pass heavy. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to work, and it's not going to work, and that's not winning football, especially when your quarterback is still kind of with the injury. He's
Yeah.
healthy, but you don't want to risk it. So you don't want him dropping back 40 times. Run the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, last week he threw 54 times. For a guy that's banged up on his when he was crawling on the ground last week, I legitimately thought it was done. Like
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's probably the Jets fan inside of me. That's what I've been telling people all week. But I legitimately thought in the back of my mind, like, oh, torn ACL, worst case scenario, he's done for the year. That's it. And obviously he got back up and finished. But yeah, guy banged up, dealing with ankle, dealing with knee. He said it. He's far from 100%. Like he's admitted he's banged up right now. And he'll probably be banged up the rest of the year. It's going to be something he's going to have to handle, especially after this game. They got the short week going to Pittsburgh, given it's a Monday night game. So he's been banged up, was limited the cup on Thursday and Friday, I believe. I think he was full today at practice. Of course, everything pushed up a day with it being a Monday game, but yeah, you can't have him getting killed out there. You drop him back 45, 50 times. That just raises the chances of him getting sacked 3, 4, 5 times a game. You just can't have that. They got to find a way to get the run game going. Glad you mentioned the play action. I will also say this. Can we see some pre-snap motion? Everything is so boring, so vanilla. They're so predictable. It's like pulling teeth trying to get 5 yards. It is. And unfortunately, we brought in Rodgers, those big back shoulder balls, right? Tried to throw one the Mike Williams game on the line, threw it at his ankles. I mean,
Well, also too, it doesn't help when a lot of those, you got some bad passes from Rodgers, so you're just like, this isn't Aaron Rodgers. And then you got some ones that are so like prime Aaron Rodgers like, but Alan Lazard clearly
oh
left his
god,
hands on the plane.
he
I
sucks.
just
He
I don't
stinks.
he
I
oh my
I'm
god.
I'm sorry. I'm done with Alan Lazard. You cannot have 3 terrible drops in a game and then score a touchdown and be like, oh, everything's okay. You can't do it. It's not. You can't do. You can't have 3 drops, 3 good catches and a touchdown and be like, oh, this is great. No, especially when he dropped the touchdown. I'm telling you, if that's
Even
Devontae Adams, he catches that touchdown.
here's the thing.
Why?
I'm not like oh,
I, why
either
is I'm
both of
sorry.
us.
We have,
No, you go. Both of us. We just so lost for words. You go
why
ahead. I'm
is
going to finish up.
why is Alan Lazard he's been featured. So Mike Williams wasn't targeted until the 4th quarter. Like, where is he? He got better as each week went on. Where was he last week? He was great against Denver. There were so many times where Rodgers got bailed out by Mike Williams running across the middle wide open. I mean, so many times where Garrett Wilson and Lazard were all locked up. Mike Williams found a way to get open to extend the play and pick up a first down. I mean, I don't know why, and I get it. It's Rodgers' guy. I get it. They've got the chemistry, but you cannot have drop after drop. I mean, they're easy balls to catch. I mean, the one you get the fumble, and then he misses and it bounces off his helmet. Like he stinks. He has no hands, and they made it a point to get Garrett Wilson more involved last week. They targeted him 22 times. 22 times they targeted him.
Jesus.
He had 100 yards, but he had 13 catches. I could probably get 100 yards if I had 13 catches. So they need Devontae Adams. They do. They need Devontae Adams. That's going to be their big adjustment. Is going to be, okay, we have Todd Downing, and then we're going to go get Devontae Adams, and everything's going to be great. And then we're going to be perfect. We're going to be rolling.
Here's my thing. I mean, I as much as I love my Cowboys, I am just a football fan. So I like to see good football. That's just I think that's every fan thing, regardless of who's playing. There are so many 3rd down situations where I see Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball or let's say forcing the ball to Alan Lazard, and like I'm looking and I'm like, is Garrett Wilson in the locker room? Like, is Garrett Wilson on the sideline getting Gatorade? Does he have cramps? Why are we forcing the ball to Alan Lazard? I mean, I honestly rather go to Brees Hall in that situation on, third and short, fourth and short, than to go to Alan Lazard, who will make the most spectacular catch you've ever seen, but will drop the simple slant or tip the ball up and it gets intercepted. I just don't get it. I mean, I can't remember the exact play, but there was a play late in the game. They absolutely needed a first down, and he forced it on to Alan Lazard. Goes incomplete. At that point, Garrett Wilson already has 22. What much more does 23 targets going to hurt? Just start forcing the ball to him. Use him, put him in the slot, line him up on a linebacker. Let's run a pick play. Let's just do something to get him the ball. Why are we forcing it to Alan Lazard out of all people?
No,
out of all people.
I totally agree. I 100% am on the same page as you. It's the third down stuff's ridiculous. They got better, but it's always the third and short. They can't convert on the simple third and short. I almost I don't know, throw my television, whatever you want to say. But they 3rd and 2. They ran the same play to Braylon Allen twice. Same play. And it got bottled up. Got bottled up on 3rd and 2, and it got bottled up on 4th and 2. You ran the same run play twice in a row. I like that Braylon Allen's in the game, but you don't go run and doing it the same play twice. Like, who are you going to fool? Nobody. You can pick anybody. You could pick somebody that doesn't watch a single minute of football, not even the Super Bowl, and say, is it a good idea to run the same play twice against that Vikings defense too? And say no. And that's another thing. They weren't even ready for the blitz last week, and they haven't been ready for the blitz. How you faced the 2 highest blitzing teams in the NFL 2 weeks in a row, and it looks like you didn't even realize they were going to blitz. I mean, they were showing 7-man fronts all day long against Minnesota, and we knew they were going to do that. They throw those exotic blitz at you where they send 7, have 4 back, and the one play, actually, Rodgers got fooled because Van Ginkel, he rushed and then he backed off, and Rodgers threw it right to him. He backed off into coverage. They were showing 7. He rushed and back, and then that was the pick 6. Technically had 3 touchdowns, just one to the other team. And they've also got to start quicker. They got to start quicker. They like you said, the scripted plays are always, they never work. They never work. It's the scripted stuff that never works. So starting fast is big. To be like Monday night, if they start slow, that's a terrible look, because they always started slow under Saleh. All right, now you got to change play caller. You changed head coach. You have to start fast. You can't look up on that scoreboard 3 minutes left in the first quarter and it be 13-0 game. You can't have that. When does this team ever go down and score on the first drive? It's like not allowed. Like, it's okay. You can go down and score on the first drive. It's allowed. You can have, the scripted plays. They don't have to be 3 and outs all the time. It's not a rule in the NFL. And they're
at least they like to make it interesting. Let's keep it interesting. Let's rally together in the fourth quarter after stinking it up all day, but just to fall short.
And then what this franchise sells you is, we were competitive. They justify losing. It's okay. Everything's all right. Like I said, I don't know if I told you this. They lost to the Vikings, right? 12:30, 12:45 Eastern. 1:30. 1:30. I'm watching. It's like 1:30, 1:45-ish. I'm watching the Bills-Texans game. And the Jets Ticketmaster ad pops up that says, get out to the game against the Bills. I'm like, are you kidding me? We just watched them lose in London, not show up. I'm hoping that they left Nate Hackett and Robert Saleh at Buckingham Palace. Obviously, they allowed them to come home. But that terrible time for a ticket ad. And then Monday morning, I got an email from a ticket rep saying, don't miss the Jets in their classic uniforms on Monday night against the Bills. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Read the room. I'm sorry. That just serious. We're sending emails the day after the Jets just lost 2 straight games including getting I don't care. I know they came back. They got destroyed in London. They didn't show up. They lost 10-9 to Bo Nix and then lost to Sam Darnold, who didn't even play well, by the way. He didn't even play well. He looked like Jets Sam Darnold. He didn't even play well. And so that was terrible. Like within 24 hours, we got more opportunities to buy tickets than the Jets have wins in the last 3 weeks. Ridiculous. Now they will be wearing the Aura uniforms tomorrow or Monday, whenever you're listening to this. Maybe it's Monday. So today, either way. But the old logo is making the comeback. There it is. Now this will be a gray face mask, but it's making a comeback. I look like Rodgers. This helmet protects probably my head the same amount as Rodgers does. Rodgers' helmet, I don't think. This is Rodgers' chin strap. This is it.
That and the chin strap from 2002 that he just won't seem to get rid of.
Actually, this is high. This is a higher grade chin strap. Actually, it's got the 2 straps. His doesn't even have 2 straps.
I know we've spent a long time, but I don't know. Maybe it's just if it's me, it has to be you as well. There's nothing that kills me more than just say they don't convert on 3rd down, they don't convert on 4th down. Rodgers pulls that freaking chin strap, single chin strap, and it's just hanging. I'm like, just gets
those chin straps he stole. Like when you were younger and you used to get the football set for remember you used to do the helmet, you get the jersey, the 2 plastic pads and the plastic helmet and then the chin strap. One year he went into the Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever, and he stole one of those and he said, you know what, I'm gonna take this plastic chin strap that doesn't protect me at all and I'm gonna put it on my helmet and we're gonna roll with it. I'll tell you what, this logo is a beauty.
They got to win at that. They have to.
It's going to be nice to get this logo back. This logo brings back a lot of memories. Unfortunately, some of the most recent memories include Bryce Petty, Josh McCown, but there's some good memories in here. You got the 98 Jets with this logo. You got the 2009, 2010 runs in this logo. So a lot of good memories.
What's that one guy? I don't remember his name. But I know he's well-known Jet super fan. Every time I see that logo, I think of him. I can't remember that guy's name. Though. Yes. I almost said Fireman Dan.
The Sanchez, this logo.
Yes.
I wish they never changed. I love the new uniforms, don't get me wrong. But what was it, 2019 to 20, what is that, 4 years? The 4 years of the other uniforms were pathetic. I wish they never changed these. They should have just kept these. These were perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with these. And the other uniforms, it wasn't even that they were bad. They just did so much losing in them. There was nothing, and they were pretty bad. I mean, those white on black, that was negative drip. There was no drip.
Yeah, they were terrible jerseys. I mean, if you could erase those from Jets history, they should start with that.
Yeah. I'll tell you who's back. You want to know who's back? Not to get off subject here, but we all thought they were back against Washington. And then here comes Big Ten play, and they're trash again.
Oh, those I don't know what happened to them.
Here it is. The black
Linsanity run is over.
The Linsanity. Look, this is even a higher grade chin strap. This is the old school Tom Brady, remember the hole in the chin strap?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I hated it. But it's higher grade than Rodgers, actually. This helmet's higher grade than Rodgers. Look, the strap goes all the way up to here.
There's been so much helmet evolution. We even got helmets now with
shut bucket.
The chin straps. You can even press a button to loosen them up.
Oh yeah.
And Rodgers is still with his 1987 chin strap.
Yep.
Oh man.
Put the helmet on. Yeah. No, the speed flex. I'll tell you what. I like the speed flexes. I think they're really, really cool. I don't think I can really get behind right now. I have not gotten behind the new motorcycle helmets. They're so ugly. To me, they're so ugly.
Oh, I think the
Power
Ranger, yes.
I don't like those. I'm actually a little worried about where the helmets are going. because in like 3 years, that's going to become the new speed flex. That's all they're going to wear. Even, you've seen the ones, couple players on the Vikings were wearing them. It looks like they've got like a pillow in front of their helmet. It's like smooth around and up front. It's like out here. It's weird.
Yes, I think is
Those
that the one
helmets.
George Kittle wears? I think George
Yeah,
Kittle
I
wears
think
that one.
so. Yeah, it's
Those
so
helmets are
weird. It's like
so
alien head. It's
ugly.
like ET. It's like just swollen out in the front.
Like,
I don't like
there's no
those
way to
either.
make that helmet look good. No visor, no
Yeah,
nothing that you can wear to make that helmet look good. They're
no,
they're
there's
terrible. I mean, I
nothing.
know it's for player safety,
It
but
is, but
they're they're very bad.
and some of the I'm not. The speed flexes were really cool. I thought they were nice. Like I adapted to them, but these I'm actually a little worried. I don't think I'm gonna be able to adapt to these,
No, never.
but maybe. I'll tell you what. And we'll get to the rookie quarterbacks here in a second. Don't want to spend too much. That's something else that needs to change. The kickoff. I haven't adapted to that. This kickoff rule is terrible. It's terrible. What does it do? What's the point of it?
I mean, I might sound like a boomer when I say this, but I'm at the point where just let's just get rid of kickoffs
Yeah,
and
I'm
punt
100%
returns
with you.
and punt returns as well, because I mean you can never get a good punt return without there being a penalty. Like, it is so annoying the one time you do get a good run back. You can watch 8 NFL games. One game you finally get a good run back and it's a penalty. So at this point, let's just all put the ball at the 25-yard line every single time, because I mean special teams has become such a non-factor for the game. Obviously, field goals are still important, but just the return game has become awful and it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, I agree. It's been all. I think the other return was actually better
It was.
than this. So poor for sure. Um All right, let's move on. Rookie quarterbacks, couple ones starting this weekend. One just straight up, it's time. The other one coming in for an injured Derek Carr. Drake May will start with him since he's the higher draft pick. After 5 weeks to Jacoby Brissett, the New England Patriots have clearly seen enough, and I don't blame them. 1-4. It's crazy that this team could have been 2-0 after that Seahawks game where they went to overtime, of course, lost. Really is wild. That this team also beat the Bengals is crazy. So I'll just say this: you know what the Patriots feel like? 2020 Jaguars. Remember when they started out 1-0, then lost 15 straight? They finished 1-15. That's what feels like this. Start out 1-0, and they'll win another game, but they're gonna finish like 3-14. So, but Drake May is starting this weekend. Came in against the Jets. Went 4 of 8 for 22 yards. Didn't look great, but also was sacked twice. Had pressure all over himself. Coming into a game on the road against a division opponent, down by 24-3, with the way that defensive line was playing and the banged up offensive line, wasn't exactly a great look for Drake May. Wasn't exactly the best way to make your debut, but he did. But this weekend will be his first start. So I guess, what are your expectations for Drake May? I don't know. Mine have kind of cooled down. Coming out of college, I love Drake May. I really did. I always thought that he would. I liked him the most coming out of this draft. I've said it. But I don't know. After seeing this New England team, seeing the supporting cast, seeing the lack of big play guys in this, the leading receiver on this team is Hunter Henry. There's only 2 guys this year on New England that have over 100 receiving yards. So I am actually a little worried that there's not enough weapons for him. But what are your thoughts on Drake May getting the start this weekend?
Drake May, honestly, they just threw a pack of chicken to a pond of gators. They set him up. I mean, I don't think if I'm correct, I think I've seen a report Ramondre Stevenson is not playing this week. And he was already in the doghouse, so that doesn't help. So you don't get your leading back if it is true Stevenson is not playing. Then you get a Houston defense that they aren't great, but they are still a very good defense. They haven't played up to their expectation. So you're getting Houston and one of the better teams in the NFL. Don't have your leading back. Your weapons oh my gosh, your weapons are terrible. At this rate, they might as well just sign me. I don't know. Like, who's their best receiver? Jalen Polk,
Yeah.
if I'm correct.
Well, on paper, or he should be. He's not technically their best receiver so far has been Hunter Henry because he leads the team in receiving yards. Actual receiver though, yards wise, it's DeMario Douglas. Polk's only had 74 yards.
That is terrible.
Now he has had one of the team's 2 receiving touchdowns. Oh my god, that's brutal.
This this is literally this is a very bad team. This,
Yeah,
I mean, Cincinnati, every single time that they watch the Patriots play, they should be throwing up in a paper bag, knowing this is the team they lost to. This is a very bad team. I mean, expectations, I guess, is just go out there and don't be Jacoby Brissett. So that's not really saying much. But they set him up. I'm not expecting him to have a good week. I mean, we're probably looking at 2 interceptions tomorrow. Probably doesn't even throw for 190 yards. It's going to be a bad week for Drake May. I feel sorry for him.
yeah, I agree. I really thought that New England was actually kind of building around him decently with Polk, even like just obviously they already had Kendrick Bourne. Obviously, DeMario Douglas was already there. Like, I actually thought there was actually maybe some pieces there for him to work with, but there's nobody. Like, he's got literally nobody. Even KJ Osborne, right? A veteran, he's done nothing this season. Absolutely nothing. So I agree with you. This is a guy that's going into a Hornets nest. He's facing the Houston Texans. It's not like this is a game where he gets the Carolina Panthers or one of these teams like that. It's rough, man. It's rough. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of these ugly, I don't know, like 12 of 27 or something like that for 113 yards and like 2 picks, something like that. Like, that just feels like this could be one of those debuts where you walk out of it and Patriots fans will be taking a couple throws and saying, "Oh, well, there's potential," but I don't think we're going to be looking at much. But go ahead, prove me wrong. I certainly didn't think Michael Penix would be this good, but a little bit different.
I mean, they set Drake May up. They basically gave him
They're setting him up for failure.
they basically gave him like a 2002 Honda Civic with a flat tire. The engine's not good. The radio doesn't work. The AC doesn't work. And guess what? Your windows don't roll down either. That is his situation. I feel bad for him. I honestly really feel bad for him.
Yeah, I do. I agree. Actually, I don't know because I don't feel bad for the New England Patriots.
No, of course not. Just Drake May.
Just Drake May. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I feel bad for Drake May. Although if you're repping the Patriots uniform, I don't feel bad for you. Even if you're Joe Milton.
Not at all. Not
Give
at
Joe
all.
Milton a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
if May, hey, I mean, I believe you are the one that said, do we see there's a chance we might see Milton this year? If Drake May gets injured or just does not, hopefully doesn't get injured. I'm not wishing injury, but if he gets injured or he just does not play good, let's say 3 weeks, Drake May just does not look good whatsoever. You're not going back to Brissett. Do you go with Joe Milton? Do you just give him a chance? At that point, if you are also sitting at, what do they want? 2 games, 1 game? If you were sitting at whatever the record is, yeah, why not go with Milton? Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know what it would take for them to potentially do that. If like how bad would it have to get? Like May would have to probably have like back-to-back 3-pick games. Even then, they'd probably still stick him out there.
I mean, I think it honestly depends on how terrible they look. If they can't even muster up 10 points like the next few games, I think you might gotta change it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Spencer Rattler. I'm actually kind of excited about this one. We'll be making his debut tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Derek Carr out with an injury. In comes Spencer Rattler, the 5th-round pick out of South Carolina. Of course, played the first 3 years of his college career at Oklahoma. Rattler's story is always interesting. I've always been high on Rattler going through the draft process. He was a guy that I looked at the Jets potentially targeting. Obviously, they selected Jordan Travis, but the Jets potentially targeting as that kind of day 3 flyer move that maybe sits a couple years and then turns into something. Rattler's gone through a lot in his career, right? He kind of came in, was all hyped up coming out of high school, going into Oklahoma. 1 year was the Heisman favorite, looked like he might be the number one overall pick, and kind of got smacked in the face, humbled a little bit with his play, was not nearly as good as many expected, and then went to South Carolina and really kind of revived his career a little bit and ultimately turned into and had a really good draft process and ultimately turned into a 5th-round pick for this Saints team. I'm intrigued by Rattler. I do. I think this is a guy that learning from some of his experiences, learning from kind of handling the failure that he had in college through those couple years could potentially help him in the NFL, especially early on as a young player who's going to have growing pains. But similar to Drake May, the Buccaneers are a very, very good team. Obviously 3-2. They've got some really good pieces on that defense. Not exactly the best team to be playing. And I know they lost to Atlanta. I know they let up a lot of points there. I know they lost to Denver in that really bad game, but not exactly the best team you'd want to be playing a divisional matchup in your first game. But here we are. It is home. I actually say this. I think I have higher expectations for Rattler tomorrow than I do Drake May.
I agree, 100%.
What are your how good do you think Rattler can be?
Honestly, it depends. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Saints last week. I can't even remember who they even played. For Spencer Rattler, I mean, it's so simple. Throw the ball to number 12. Last week, number 12 had 1 target through 4 quarters. He is your best receiver. I don't know if Derek Carr was like, I don't know if it was some beef between Carr and Olave or what it was, but for Derek Carr, it was time to learn Raheem Shaheed, buddy, because that's the only person you threw the ball to. So if you are Spencer Rattler tomorrow, great point of against that defense. And this also can go towards how I think they should come into this game. Give them some short, quick throws to Olave, to Shaheed, to Kamara to just build his confidence up and take some pressure off so that way he won't start to lose confidence from seeing some balls hit the ground, but also too to avoid that pass rush. So for Rattler, I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Get the ball to your playmakers. And I know we say this all the time, but I watch a lot of quarterbacks that seem to have a number one guy and forget that they're on the field. So get the ball to your star players. You know what Olave can do with the ball in his hands. You know what Kamara can do. You utilize what you have.
Yeah.
Don't try to be a hero. But that also goes to again to play calling because they suck when it comes to play calling unless they're playing Dallas.
I agree, and I think Kamara is going to be a really, really huge weapon for him as well. Just early in the game, some of those check downs, some of those quick and easy throws to running backs that we see all across the league, but especially with New Orleans with Kamara, who is of course a great receiving threat out of the backfield. So I really like that possibility as well, and I'm glad you brought that up. Having a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield really well is certainly a big aspect to this. So yeah, I like Rattler's chance. I think I'll have a good day. You might see a highlight or two to Olave and Saints fans be like, oh my God, this is the future. Here we are. We don't need Derek Carr. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed.
That just goes back. I'm not even gonna rant about it, but that just goes back to me liking just good football. Why does Chris Olave have 1 reception and 1 target in the 4th quarter?
Yeah.
Just in what world? Like, does that make sense? That literally does not make any sense to me. I just I don't know. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. But then again, I know New Orleans thing is a big thing with down there is like voodoo and all this crazy type of stuff.
Yeah.
That probably is what you get from throwing a parade in Dallas, acting like you've won the Super Bowl. You haven't won a game since. You have not won a game since. They literally were in the streets of Arlington, Texas, with drums and trumpets and whatever the heck else, and have not won a game since they won a Super Bowl in Arlington, Texas. So I hope they lose tomorrow as well.
How does it, man? So does it make the loss feel worse?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Because Because I mean, do you know the Peter Parker meme, glasses, no glasses, when he
Yeah,
first became Spider Man? Like I'm watching that game and I'm just like Saints, and then I take the glasses off and it's 2007 Patriots, like Raheem Shaheed, Randy Moss, Drew
same
Brees.
guy,
Not
same
sorry,
guy.
not even Drew Brees. Well, we can say yeah, Derek Carr, Drew Brees, or Tom Brady. Like
Yeah,
everyone was just the greatest player at their position that day, and ever since then they just stink. I don't
yeah,
get it. I really don't get it. But
no,
you know,
yeah,
it's all right.
I agree. Um, yeah, it's not great. Um, like, what would it take this year for you to jump back on the Cowboys train?
Whew. Let me pull out my scroll of my old medieval scroll of things I need for that to happen. Jerry Jones has to get fired. They have to trade for Devontae Adams.
So sell the
Um,
team.
yeah, basically. Yeah,
I like
Jerry
it.
Jones is gone. Devontae Adams has to be a Cowboy. Get rid of Zeke. He's just there wasting space. I don't. They don't even use the guy. Get rid of Zeke. Go get a running back. Win a few playoff games. Yeah,
And make some noise.
and make some noise.
I like it. I like it.
Like they can honestly go through this next few stretch of games. And we are very undermanned with all the injuries. They can go through these next stretch undefeated, and I still would not be all in. I still would not have bought in. I would consider. I would think it's fluky and just like probably closer to the world ending than them winning the Super Bowl. This this is just the honest truth.
Yeah. Um. All right. Top 10 teams and an underdog picks.
Top 10 teams. I think my list is going to be quite surprising.
Yeah, I've got some interesting ones as well. Do you want to begin?
Sure, why not? We're gonna go number one. This is the team we picked in the preseason to be a Super Bowl contender, and that is unfortunately the team that just beat you guys on Sunday. We're gonna go with the Vikings.
Ooh.
They've at number one. Yes, at number one, they've been very. We said they're winning 6 games this year. They are undefeated at 5-0. I'm unless they completely like everything goes wrong. I mean, they have a good chance of winning the division right now. I like Minnesota at 1. They've been impressive. 2, I like Washington. I think that Linsanity run ends on Sunday, but got to give credit where credit is due. As bad as the defenses look, their offense has looked amazing. Jaden Daniels has looked amazing. The comparisons of him being better than Stroud and Lamar Jackson have been outrageous. We're not there yet, but he definitely has been good. I like Washington at 2. Houston at 3. Now, this might be surprising because we have some teams with some better records, but I think for Houston, I know I can't remember who they lost to. One of those games they lost where they seemed like they came out flat, had a pretty bad game. I like Houston at 3. I still think they're getting to the AFC Championship at least.
Yeah.
They've been impressive, even with the losses. Number 4, we're going to go with the other undefeated team in the Chiefs. I honestly don't know how they're undefeated with everything going on with them, but Mahomes is Mahomes. Not too much to say about them. And I'm going to go with the team that's beaten Dallas by 14 on Sunday. I actually bumped that line to 17 now. Lions by 17. They just, again, they're one of those teams that haven't looked similar to what they looked last year, but they are still a very good football team. And I think they're going to show everybody on Sunday why they are just that good. Lions at 5.
All righty. I'm gonna surprise first one here. I'm gonna go Ravens. Ravens number 1 right now. I love what I've seen out of their offense. That play last week by Lamar Jackson was one of the craziest plays I've seen in a while. The stiff arm, rolling out, extending the play, getting it to Isaiah Likely. By the way, every tight end scoring touchdowns for the Ravens except Mark Andrews. I just want to put that out there. Again,
Basically.
get the left tackle out of the lineup, fantasy owners, please. Just do that. Ravens number one. I love what I've seen. Started 0-2, or not finishing strong, but the last 3 weeks they've been excellent. They've been one of the best offenses in football. Dominated Buffalo. Of course, came back against Cincinnati on the road, won that game. They've been great. I'll go Ravens one. Number two, I'll go Commanders. And I think this is going to be an awesome game this week. Commanders, Ravens, in my eyes, and both of our eyes. You're seeing two elite teams going out there on Sunday. Jaden Daniels has been amazing. He's been, I think, as advertised for as good as, I don't know if I want to say, yeah, advertised. He's been as good as advertised. I think when you draft a guy that high, even if maybe you didn't expect him to be this good right away, he's still the number 2 overall pick. Still, of course, had a great year last year at LSU. He's he's been phenomenal. The completion percentage, I've talked about it, is something that I think that blows me away. 77.1% completion percentage for a rookie is just something that you don't see very often. So I've loved what I've seen from the Commanders. I'll go them number 2. Number 3, I'll put the Vikings. So Vikings a little farther back. I've loved what I've seen from Minnesota. Don't get me wrong. But last week might have been the first time that I was a little worried about the Sam Darnold run ending. He did not look good. It felt like he finally faced a defense that could somewhat contain his number 1 option, which the Jets did a good job of. And without that number 1 option, he finally showed some signs of like a little bit of weakness. He finally showed some signs of old Darnold again. And believe me, I'm rooting for him, but last week was pretty bad. And I feel like there's kind of a blueprint that's been put out there now last week about how to attack him that teams haven't been able to figure out during this darn sanity run, if that makes sense. So I'll go Vikings 3. 4, I'll go Detroit. Love what I've seen from the Lions. Detroit Vikings. Hey, prove me wrong, Vikings. Go out there and beat Detroit this weekend. And this will be, you'll be right back up there, 6-0, best team in football. But I think the Lions have been, the Lions are kind of like Houston. They're just going about their business, doing, obviously you had the one loss to Tampa, but they're going about their business. They're winning games. They blew out Seattle. Most of their games have been close other than the blowout against Seattle, but they're kind of like Houston. They're just winning games, doing their job. That's what you expect out of them. They're a team that'll be right in the heart of it in the NFC. And then 5, I'm going to go Texans. For similar reasons probably as you. They haven't been great, but I think that's what makes them so scary is they're 4-1 and they have a minus 12 point differential. They still haven't hit their stride. Once this team hits their stride, more than capable of winning 13 games, more than capable of getting to the Super Bowl, which at the beginning of the year, Texans, Lions. So Ravens, Commanders, Vikings. Wait, hold on. Did I say that right? Ravens, Commanders, Vikings, Lions, Texans. Is that the right order? Yes. Yes. It is. Sorry.
No
Took
Chiefs.
a little bit to load.
I'm kind of surprised. Then again, I'm not. For 5-0, they have been mid. I mean, I think they're not exciting to watch no more. They aren't what we kind of expected. And I know they got some injuries in some key positions, but I feel like it's hard to count on Mahomes. But the Chiefs,
I'm sorry, Kansas City. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm surprised you didn't have them up there. But I mean, it's hard to count them out with Mahomes.
Yeah.
But this kind of feels like that run is over.
Yeah, I don't know anymore, man. Because I feel like with them, they're just when it comes to Houston or Kansas City, this is just what they're gonna do. They're gonna kind of limp through the through the regular season, and then once postseason comes around, they're gonna dominate. That's what they're gonna do. But yeah, I guess my point's invalid about Houston then, because I'm like, oh, they're 4-1 and they haven't played their best football. Well, Kansas City's 5-0 and they haven't played their best football.
I don't know, something about the two. There's such similar situations with like Mixon being hurt and now Nico Collins, of course, and then Pacheco and Rashee Rice. But there's to me, like I'm watching this Houston team, and I know they've had some close ones, but like I'm watching this Houston team, and I'm like, this is a great football team that can really make some noise. And then you watch that Chiefs team that are just barely sneaking by, and you're kind of just like, all right, well, it's somebody. Somebody's gonna beat them. Eventually,
Mhm.
somebody's gonna beat them. Like this can't continue forever. So I don't know. I don't know. It makes sense to what I'm trying to say. I just feel like they're not on the same level of dominance,
Yeah, no, I
even though the
agree.
Chiefs are undefeated. I just no.
Heck, I mean, even just I think one of the biggest stories with the Chiefs has been the lack of the low connection rate between Kelsey and Mahomes. I mean, Kelsey hasn't caught a touchdown yet this year. That's crazy. He hasn't had one game over 100 yards this season. So there's been that too, and Mahomes too has turned the ball over a lot more than he typically does, um, with 6 interceptions in the first 5 games. I mean, he's got 6 touchdowns and 6 picks. That's
It's quite interesting. What's quite interesting? Here we go. I'm now about to rant. What's quite interesting to me is somehow Mahomes. There's still some people talking about Mahomes being in the MVP race, this, and that. But what is quite interesting, nobody talks about him leading the league in interceptions. If that was Dak
yeah.
Prescott, oh my goodness, I would never hear the end of it. It would be on ESPN every day. They'll have freaking blimps talking about Dak Prescott interceptions, like it will literally be everywhere in the world. You might get a Ticketmaster ad. Hey, you want to see Dak Prescott throw an interception? Come watch the Cowboys on Sunday.
Mhm.
Nobody talks about Mahomes though. No one talks about Mahomes.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. 100% right. Mahomes is the darling. I mean, nobody's talking about the Chiefs. Well, they're 5-0, but if the Jets were 5-0 playing like this, I'd be like, "Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl." But yeah. Anyway, underdog picks.
Underdog picks. You're catching up. I actually did pretty bad last week, thanks to
Yes,
let
one
me
and two, and
see,
I am 2-1. So
thanks
overall,
to the Jets. Thanks to the Jets
you
and the
are
Patriots.
10-5. I'm 6-9.
Literally
Nice.
one more week. About one more week. If I just go 0-3, I mean,
I'm right back in it.
you're back in it.
All right, so I won last week,
Of course,
so I'm
take it
supposed to
away.
go first. This is unusual. I'm sorry. This is unusual. This is out of my element. I'm not used to this. All right. Uh, let's roll. Cardinals plus 5.5. I'll take them over Green Bay. Haven't loved what I've seen from Green Bay. I know they won last week. That loss to the Vikings was pretty ugly though. The Rams are beat up. They're banged up. They haven't looked very good this year at all. At 1-4. Cardinals. It's not even so much with Green Bay. It's just what I've seen from Arizona. Going to San Fran last week, and I'm glad you told me to pick Arizona. Not only do they pick up the win, no, not only do they cover, but they pick up the win by 1
Comeback,
against San Fran.
comeback effort.
Yep. Kyler Murray, fantasy quarterback 1 over here. By the way, 4-1 in fantasy, 4-1. That is crazy. I haven't had 4 wins in the last 5 years combined. So this is huge for me. But I'll take the Cardinals here on the road again. Road Warriors. Give me the Cardinals plus 5.5. I'll take the Commanders plus 7. I know this might feel like a back down to earth week for them, but I don't see them losing by more than a touchdown. I think this is actually be a close game. I think Baltimore will win. They'll probably win by 3 to maybe 6. I do think they win this game, but I think the Commanders cover. And then my last pick. See, I'll be honest. I thought about taking the Cowboys again because I
I
do
said,
believe
don't do that.
I believe that the Cowboys the Cowboys are going to win this week. I do believe that they will win, but I'm going to take the Colts instead. Colts plus 2.5. How they are even underdogs does not make any sense to me. Colts, Joe Flacco, 2.5
Is it
over the
is
Tennessee Titans.
Flacco playing or is Richardson playing? 'Cause I've heard two different things. I have not
I,
looked it up myself like I should have.
no, yes. 20 minutes ago. He is expected to suit up.
Richardson.
Oh, I said it. Give me the Colts anyway. Ugh, I don't feel very
Because
confident
I was
about this.
just about to change it, but
I'll take the Colts anyway. Although I am guaranteeing a Cowboys victory again this week. I'm just saying.
if let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What is something outrageous I can do next week if the Cowboys win? Not shaving out the eyebrows. That's we're gonna save that for another time.
The
We're gonna
Cowboys win the
save that
Super
for
Bowl.
another time. I don't know. I'm going to show up in something completely outrageous next week if Dallas finds a way to win this week, because that would mean you'll be 2-0 on just Cowboy straight up picks.
Yeah.
If
Although I do think I'll go with. I want to go with the Cowboys. I put the Colts. Mm,
they haven't been good at home, they've not
they
been
have
good at
not been good
home.
at home. Give me the Cowboys. No, give me the
So
Colts. Give me the Colts. Give me the Colts.
let's
All right, give me the Colts.
let's stick with it.
You can go.
All right.
Make your picks before I switch this again and then ruin my week.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. Cardinals plus 5.5. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Secondly, I'm gonna go Bears plus 1, meaning of course they have to win outright. I just that defense, Jacksonville's not looked great, even though I know they snuck a win in last week. The defense has not looked great. Give me the Bears plus 1, and then
Ooh.
Panthers plus 6. I mean, Andy Dalton. I know they
Red
did not
Rocket.
look. They didn't look too good last week. Was it last week? Who did they play last week? I can't even remember.
Who?
The Panthers. Was that Cincinnati?
They played last week. They played
No,
the
no, not
Bears.
Cincinnati. There was a game the Panthers played where it kind of got away from them at the end where they were in it. But offense looks good with Dalton. I'm going to stick with Andy Dalton. I mean, I know the Panthers have kind of let you down. I believe you picked them
Yeah,
a
week
time
1.
before. I'm going to go with them this week. Give me Panthers plus 6.
All right. So, closing thoughts. If there was a fourth pick, I'm taking the Cowboys. Cowboys are winning. I'm guaranteeing it.
If I don't believe it. I gotta see. I have to see it to believe it. And even then, I'm going to consider I'm like that it's fluky and that just no. There's no way we win this week.
Well, we will see.
Gibbs and Montgomery might both rush for 70 yards. So I mean, no.
Give me the Dallas Cowboys.
I almost took Jets. But they've burnt me
Don't
too many times. I
don't
can't
do
do
it.
it again. I can't do it again.
Is it bad that both of us are not believing in either of our teams?
For good reasoning. I mean, like, there's no point in.
Well, when
There's
does the
just no.
underdog pick work for the Jets this year, right? Because last week it didn't work. Week 1 it didn't work. This week we'll see if it works. They've only been underdogs twice. Well, 3 times, but
Maybe
this week. Because
I don't know.
Tennessee,
Maybe
they were
it's the
favorites. New
Patriots.
England, they were favorites. In Denver, they were favorites.
I don't know. Both our teams suck. I'm gonna just say that respectfully. Both our teams suck. Like it, they are just
Not
bad
in these.
football teams. So, you know, they're
Well,
gonna win in those though. They're gonna have to.
we are.
Yeah,
Let's
that is
go.
all. Is that a number 12? Who is number 12?
Broadway Joe.
A Joe Namath Funko Pop's kind of fire. I'm
We're
not
ready.
gonna lie.
This is the thumbnail. Ready?
So that means they're winning this week.
Yes, because I've got the helmet on. I got the sign over my head. Oh, we're here. We're ready. Ready? Oh God. I got my signed football, which nobody that signed this football is currently on the active roster, but it doesn't matter.
All right.
We're winning. We're winning this game.
I think that just confirmed. I'm not a big Funko Pop guy. Like I don't know. It's just not my thing. I'm not like a collector guy. But they did release a CD Lamb Funko Pop. If we win on Sunday, I am buying a CD Lamb Funko Pop.
You want to
That's
see
what I'm going to
something?
do.
You want to see something? Kevin
Who is that?
Durant,
Is that Kevin
Brooklyn.
Durant? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I forgot you were a Nets fan. Oh goodness. It's been
I
rough.
know, isn't it great?
Uh
I
I
don't
think
ever I
I
don't know what
asked
pain is. I don't know what pain is. Actually, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what success is. How about this
I
one?
think
Dr. J.
see, all right, like that's actually fire. But I
Yeah.
think I've asked this before. Are you an Islanders guy or are you a Rangers guy?
I'm a Rangers fan.
Okay.
See? Henrik. I got the Henrik Funko Pop. And then I've got the Panarin Funko Pop.
All
And
right.
for one more good measure, Glaber Torres.
Out of all people,
Yes.
why? Why Torres?
Um, that's a great question. Can you see KD?
I mean, they
This is
they
KD
need to
showing
come
up in
out
the
with
playoffs. Small.
yeah, never shows up. Good old KD. They need to make a Soto Shuffle Funko Pop
They
some way
do.
somehow. That would be fire.
I gotta look at this.
If if we win on Sunday, I am buying that CD Lamb Funko Pop. I absolutely will.
I think it's official to say the show has completely gone off the rails.
Absolutely.
There it is.
But who likes scripted anyways? All right, so next week that's how you got to that's how you got to start off.
Yes, they say on top of your head, we take it literal.
Let's see. Let's see how much these. Let's see how much these CD Lamb Funko Pops go for. Out of curiosity.
All right, time to put my beautiful signed football back. You want to see something? Where is it?
Is this the Zach Wilson signature?
No. I do have a Zach Wilson signature. That's the sad part. That's the real sad part. Just not here. You want to see something, actually? All right. I will close
Actually,
things out
these
because I am
are
very
kind of
tired.
fire. These are fire. I might actually get
That
that.
is cool.
That's actually kind of fire.
You want to see something? Here I am. This is. Hold on. No, never mind.
They have a Dak Prescott Funko Pop. Interesting.
This is when I had belief. I had belief. Here it is. Jets training camp.
Poor Zach, man. Poor you, actually. To have to
Poor
take
me.
that picture with Zach Wilson. I'm so sorry.
I believed. I was a believer.
Why? Okay, I'm putting my phone up. I'm done. Why is there a Jalen Smith Funko Pop in a Dallas Cowboys uniform? I never want to see that again in my life.
It's a great question.
Oh
Anyway,
my goodness.
closing thoughts as I put these Funko Pops away.
Let's just hope our teams win this week. And again, if we find a way to win on Sunday, I will hopefully have my CD Lamb Funko Pop by the following Sunday. Yeah, man, my word.
I think I got this right. It's like this. Yes, it's like this. Yo, but this is the behind the scenes here.
See, I need to get me a setup. I'm waiting on. I'm about to kick my girl out of her home office and make it my home office so I can set up. I got a bunch of stuff sitting in storage, waiting to get set up one day.
Yes, and it will look like true professionals. All right. We will talk to you guys next week. Don't waste too much money on Funko Pops. And talk to you later. We're out.
All right,
Dr. J.
Dr. J.
Pound
Dr. J says we're out.
Pound it. Noggin. See ya.